Roads are great. They get you to where you need to go. But what if that final destination is somewhere that you don't belong? Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Haunted World. Today's episode is going to be a very special one. We'll be talking about the possibly paranormal Paradise Road in Jefferson, Wisconsin. I'll tell you about the factual, confirmed history of the road, and then I'll tell you about the reports of paranormal occurrences. I'll also tell you about when I went there about a year and a half ago and show you some of my clips. We're 11 minutes away from Paradise Road. From a factional criminal side of things, Paradise Road has a fairly high-profile murder case, and that's the case of Diane Borchardt. Diane Borchardt was a teaching aide at Jefferson High School. She was married to someone named Ruben, but their marriage was about to end in a divorce. Diane did not want out of that marriage in the traditional way. No, she convinced 3 high school students to kill her husband for her. She offered them $20,000, her wedding ring, and 2 cars, as well as convincing them that she was being abused by her husband. The 3 kids did comply, went to the house, shot the husband twice, killing him. Eventually, when the trials began, one of the students did confess, after cheapskate Diane didn't provide them with the payment. The big thing to note is that Diane and Ruben, their house, was on an intersecting street to Paradise Road. If you do want to learn more about this entire terrible murder case, you can watch the movie Seduced by Madness. It talks about the entire case much more in detail. Now, for the paranormal side of things, I'll be telling you about some of the things that have been reported on a lot as people seeing at Paradise Road, and beware, this is creepy. One of the biggest things that people have seen on Paradise Road is short, robed figures roaming the woods, and it's something that nearly everyone has noted seeing. In my experience, I didn't specifically see any shadow figures. I attribute a lot of the things that could have been to mind tricks. While I was scrubbing through some of the video files, there was some possibly creepy thing.
It's like a black hole in the woods. Did you see that?
This, some people do say, correlates with a story that I could not confirm about 3 sisters that were witches living on the road. The story goes that the sisters lived there during a lot of the witchcraft trials, and they were all hung from trees, which goes into another thing that people have seen. A lot of people have seen people hanging from trees, a lot of figures hanging from trees. Some people say it's 3. Some people say if you go to the 3rd bump in Paradise Road and look in your rearview mirror, you'll see 3 people hanging in the background. During my trip, we tried it. We didn't see it. I think mostly because we didn't know what counted as the bump. There's a lot of them in there, but many people have reported shadow figures or things hanging. One thing a lot of people have noted as well is inhuman screams. I didn't hear that, but many people have reported on that. Another thing that is very important to note is that many people have reported an uneasy or eerie feeling when they were on the road. At one point I got out of the car and walked some of the road. At a couple points I did. But one of them specifically, I walked and the headlights were shining so I could see. And I could have swore I heard footsteps following us. Very light, but footsteps.
What? Wanna go back?
What?
I heard something.
What?
I heard some cracking.
And there was definitely no one around. It was one of the creepiest experiences though. Coincidentally, another thing many people note is that footsteps seem to follow you around. Another thing to note is that some motorists have reported decapitated animals in the middle of the road.
It's not gutted.
I did see some sort of decapitated animal.
It doesn't have a head. That's his teeth right there. Here, look at that. His head.
Oh my god, why is his teeth over there?
It could have just been a
Someone
car
took out his
accident,
teeth.
but noting that many other people have experienced the same thing and attribute it to haunted is pretty creepy. Besides a summary of things, I thought it'd be really good to go over some eyewitness reports, and one site was really good for that of someone's experience, and that was jesswitkins.wordpress.com. She and a friend went and she reported on some of her experiences. They were similar to mine, they were really creepy, sent a little bit of chills down my spine, but I'm gonna go over what she experienced in bullet point form. She noted that she saw dense layers of fog that parted exactly when we approached the street. When we were there, we didn't specifically have it parted, but we did see many weird pockets of fog.
You saw white smoke to you?
There was white smoke just right here. I was trying to get your guys' attention. I'm not kidding you. Like, literally just white smoke.
We did just drive through some smoke.
This next point I'm gonna read off here because it's really creepy. She says, having walked the whole street's length, I was aware of a shadow floating on the opposite side of the street, keeping our pace. This was at night, and I tested to make sure it did not belong to any of us. creepy, but I'll keep reading it. A friend and her both witnessed shadow figures climbing the trees. She says upon a random stop in the car, their headlights shone directly on an intricately carved eye. One thing to note that really still creeps me out now is one person in the car at one point did notice what they said was a totem in a field.
There's like a tiki man right there.
Was there?
Yeah, it was creepy.
So saw a
There's
tiki
like a
man?
totem pole.
A totem.
Yeah, but it was just one face.
I didn't notice it specifically when we were there, but upon watching the clips, it's one of the things that I think got passed up on a little bit. This last point is really creepy to me because of something I'll say. But they say, having thought we parked in front of an abandoned house with no lights on, a friend witnessed a hand pull back a window curtain and disappear again. I say this is really creepy because someone I was with had been to Paradise Road before we visited.
Like walking up and exploring the house, and we looked into one of the windows that you can see into the basement.
Yeah.
And there was a chair in the basement with a construction light set up, like shining on the chair.
Seriously.
And on the chair there was an outfit, like an empty outfit, like a shirt and then pants and then shoes, like on the ground. Like it was super sketchy.
The creepiest thing, though, that I will say happened was radio frequencies. That was mentioned a few times, not as one of the prevailing things, but when we turned on to Paradise Road, we heard The Devil Went Down to Georgia start playing.
Okay, it could be found footage. This is Paradise Road. We're turning on to Paradise Road.
No, I want to see when we get to the end of it.
Okay. I was just gonna end it and keep the map pulled up to the road so we can see.
This is Paradise Road. We should probably, should we?
The devil, what? That's ironic that it just...
Turn this music up a little.
No.
How do you make it go to a top view? It's on like a...
I just want to say we entered this road and the devil song came on.
Stop it.
I hope this maybe scared you a little bit or showed you that Paradise Road in Jefferson, Wisconsin could be haunted. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them a comment. Please subscribe to see both more Haunted World, to see more Wisconsin haunted things, and to see more of me. Thank you for watching. Don't get too scared, but stay haunted, people.